If Nietzsche were alive today, he'd probably have to mute half the Instagram stories just to keep his sanity. And honestly, can you blame him? Welcome back to BetterMe, where we take self-improvement seriously, but thankfully, not too seriously. Today, we are diving into one of the deepest yet strangely freeing ideas ever tossed into the universe: Nietzsche's famous call to become who you are. Now, before you start drafting your escape plan thinking, wonderful, another deep dive into existential dread, relax. We're keeping it real, light, and just philosophical enough to impress your inner Socrates without putting him to sleep. So grab your coffee or whatever potion fuels your personal development journey, and let's jump right into it. Let's start by asking, what does it even mean to become who you are? You might think, well, I am me, mission accomplished. But here's the kicker. Most of us are walking around like a remix of everyone else's expectations, social media trends, and childhood programming. It's like we're the human version of a Spotify playlist titled Greatest Hits of Other People's Opinions. And sure, it sounds familiar, but is it really you? Nietzsche wasn't telling us to just be ourselves like some cheesy, inspirational poster in a dentist's office. No, he was practically grabbing us by the collar and saying, hey, wake up. You're not a stock photo. You're supposed to be something real. He was challenging us to strip away every bit of fake polish society sticks on us, the filters, the highlight reels, the "you should be more like this" whispers, and then build from what's raw, gritty, and honest inside. And if that sounds like a messy construction project, congratulations, you're exactly right. Authentic self-improvement isn't clean, easy, or quick. It's not one of those feel-good montage scenes in a movie where you learn guitar in 30 seconds. It's more like home renovation, except the home is your soul, the foundation is cracked, the wiring is highly questionable, and no, you can't just hire a contractor off Yelp. You're the architect, the demolition crew, the carpenter, and sometimes the guy sitting on the floor eating cold pizza wondering what the heck he signed up for. But here's the thing, that chaos, that's where the real magic happens. Because when you start tearing down all the drywall of other people's expectations, you finally find the blueprint you were supposed to be following all along. In a world obsessed with copying trends, becoming yourself is the ultimate rebellion. Think about it. We live in a world where originality often means copying a TikTok dance 2 seconds after it trends. Our days get swallowed by endless scrolling, mindless copying, and comparison games that would make even the most stoic philosopher break a sweat. Time management? Forget about it. Most of us are using all our time managing how we look instead of who we are. If you want real personal development, you have to step out of the assembly line. You have to look at the mass production of identities and politely but firmly walk the other way. This is where a real growth mindset comes in. Not the just be positive, fake stuff. The real deal. The one where you believe you are worth becoming, even if it means starting as a hot mess before you start looking like you have your act together. Why emotional intelligence is the secret weapon for becoming yourself. Let's be honest. Figuring out who you are is a full-contact sport. You are going to meet resistance from the world, from your well-meaning family, and especially from that voice in your head that's really good at talking trash. This is where emotional intelligence saves the day. It's not just about reading other people's moods at a dinner party. It's about recognizing when your fear is lying to you. It's about knowing when your need for approval is dressing up as good advice. If you can manage your emotions instead of being managed by them, you unlock a superpower most people never get close to. That's self-control in action. And without it, becoming yourself is like trying to run a marathon in flip-flops. Self-discipline is not a prison. It is a passport to who you're meant to be. When people hear self-discipline, they usually picture cold showers at 5 a.m., army drills, or eating salad out of sheer misery. And honestly, I get it. It sounds about as fun as a root canal. But Nietzsche had something wildly different in mind. He was not handing out punishment schedules. He was handing you a passport, stamped with permission to leave the land of almost and travel toward your highest potential. Real self-discipline is not about beating yourself up. It is about betting on yourself. It is standing at the crossroads of comfort and growth and saying, I choose the road that builds me, even if it's uphill and the Wi-Fi is spotty. Self-discipline is just love, wearing work boots. It is proof that you believe you are worth the sweat, the setbacks, and yes, even the awkward failures that make great stories later. And if you are serious about personal development, if you want real, lasting self-improvement, you need more than hacks and highlights. You need devotion. You need grit. You need the kind of study motivation that makes you show up for yourself even when no one's clapping. Minimalist living ties right into this. It's not just about having fewer things. It is about clearing the clutter, mental, emotional, and spiritual, so you can actually hear your own voice over the noise of the world, because you cannot become who you are if your brain is a hoarder's paradise. Stoicism philosophy teaches us how to focus on what really matters. If Nietzsche and the Stoics ever had a dinner party, you can bet it would be a wild one. Stoicism is all about focusing your energy where it actually counts. It's about learning how to be productive without burning out, how to stay calm when the world is losing its mind, and how to build a life that feels right, even if it doesn't look flashy on a highlight reel. The daily Stoic practice of reflecting each day, asking yourself, what did I do well? What can I improve? That's self-improvement in its purest form. No glitter, no dopamine hits from likes and shares. Just you and your personal growth quietly doing the real work. Here's the real secret. Becoming yourself is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong study motivation. You don't just wake up one morning, stretch, and say, well, that's done. I have officially become myself. Nope. It's more like waking up every day and choosing it all over again. Choosing courage over comfort. Choosing honesty over approval. Choosing growth over ease. Study motivation is key here. If you can stay curious about yourself, if you treat your personal development like a fascinating novel instead of a boring assignment, you're already way ahead of the game. And trust me, the game is rigged in favor of the brave, not the perfect. Becoming yourself isn't a final destination where you get a trophy and a discount at the gift shop. It's more like hiking an endless trail. Some days you're climbing, some days you're sliding backward, and some days you're just standing there wondering if you missed a turn at Comfort Zone Creek. There will be days when you feel like you've cracked the code, and days when you wonder if you're even reading the right manual. That's not failure. That's life, handing you new blueprints as you go. So don't get discouraged if your personal growth looks less like a straight line and more like a doodle drawn by a distracted toddler. That's not a mistake. That's you. Living, learning, adjusting, evolving. And the people who keep showing up for that messy, beautiful work, they're the ones who don't just find themselves, they create themselves. Nietzsche might mute Instagram, but he would cheer for you becoming real. At the end of the day, Nietzsche didn't want perfect people. He didn't want flawless success stories or perfectly curated life updates. He wanted real humans, messy, brilliant, struggling, striving. He wanted you in all your wild and honest becoming. And maybe, just maybe, in a world addicted to copying, the greatest act of courage is simply refusing to be anything other than your true self. So next time you feel lost, overwhelmed, or tempted to just copy someone else's life, remember, become who you are is not advice. It's a lifelong invitation. An invitation to stop scrolling, start living, and get busy with the real work of being you. Thanks for hanging out with me today on BetterMe, where self-improvement is serious, but we don't have to be.